8, 9. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the new weekly comic book series here on Comic Frontline. This is Frontline Live presents Comic Book Weekly, Episode 1. Fresh start, fresh beginning here. We're all here. You know what I should do so everybody would know, because I'm smart and, I always start shows off right. Boop. There we go.
There you go.
So, as you all know, I'm Chris, Dark Avenger C86. Got Mike, Duderock18.
Michael at Duderock18.
I'm sorry, he's using his full name now. Cat Comic Uno.
Hey, what's up?
We got the beatbox mic, but while the beatbox mic is going on, we got Brant, Last Ember Press.
What's up, everybody?
And Mike, Spider Slayer Comic Book Corner 2.0.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
And I'm sure anyone, let's click this first. And I'm sure anyone who's watching right now is questioning, Comic Book Weekly, isn't this supposed to be Frontline Live? What's going on? So we're going to actually introduce this new layout for all of you. As we go through all the new things, I'm sure we'll all talk about it, but I'm sure there are a bunch of different questions as well. I'm going to turn this over to Brant first to address one thing. And then as we go through the show, we'll address all the other questions as we do our new sections. But this is the new start. Brant?
Yeah. So we are actually already got a question in the comments. Where's Jay? And that's what we're gonna...
knows, and that's what's funny about it.
I know. We're going to address that just really quickly. And this is all we're going to say about it. We're not going to take questions or anything like that. So if you're not aware, Comic Frontline and Jay have parted ways. Jay has stated his perspective on it on a live show. Anybody can go check that out. We have a different perspective. There's always more than one side to a story, and ours is very different than Jay's, and that's fine. But that's kind of all we're really going to say about it. We are looking to move forward, and that's why we have Comic Book Weekly now. We're looking to the future, and we're going to have a good time. And it's just sometimes things don't work out, and you have to make adjustments and go in a different direction, and that's kind of where we're at. So for us, it's a personal and private matter, and we intend to keep it that way, and hopefully you guys will respect that. And now we're just going to have some fun.
That's right. And with that being said, back to the group. We're going to start with...
One thing I just want to mention, Chris, just Tevye says the new format doesn't work yet. We haven't introduced a new format yet. So throughout the show, we're going to...
Yeah, how did we just started.
It's like
what, 5
minutes?
minutes? Wow, Tevye, you don't like the first 3 minutes? Oh, boy.
I think you also meant the top 5. So for the people who are leaving top 5, we're going to be doing that when we get closer to top 5, because we're going to be utilizing our StreamYard to actually showcase your comments live onto the video. So they're talking about Discord. So yeah, we're going to be using the live format for this, just because it's easier for us, and we think it's better for you guys as well.
I'm going to just address this real quick. The reason I'm wearing headphones, I normally don't, but this week there are people that are sleeping around me. So since I'm the only one here, I have me headphones on me head. But normally I don't have them on, but today I am.
Cool.
So we're going to start with Kat. Kat's going to be the opening section to Comic Book Weekly.
And I'll say the only thing that hasn't really changed with our show is the news. So the way we do the news is going to be the same. So let's get started. We're going to start with some comic news first, because we're going to make you stew a little bit so we can talk about the Birds of Prey trailer last, because that is the title of our video. But we are going to talk about some Birds of Prey news, which is Birds of Prey shifts to 2020 because they want to tie into the movie more and make it more mature. I already wasn't really looking forward to this book because Babs is not in it, and that makes no sense to me. And then I'm also not a big Azzarello fan, so I am a little less excited. Not that, we'll talk about the movie, but I like when the movie things. Like, I don't think they need to be integrated unless it's like a spin-off book, like Spider-Verse issue 1 this week. That's fine. But I don't think that's needed, but that's my opinion. Let's go to Brant.
I think I understand why moving it, because you can kind of bank off of the the popularity of one to kind of get interest in the other. So I understand that from a marketing perspective. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about it either. I've never been a big Azzarello fan either. So it's like I don't know that I care all that much. And I agree with you. I think it doesn't make sense not to have Batgirl in there. And it also is weird to have Harley. So I also
they're doing it to be popular because Harley's popular.
of course.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. I will say that I like the original cover. They changed the cover to make it more mature. They went with a different layout and everything. I like the original cover better. I think it was better art and better layout and everything. So I'm kind of disappointed by that.
Any other opinions on Birds of Prey, or? All right, we'll move on. I did see an interesting question that me and Mike might be able to answer at least, and that was from Brawley, I believe, who asked, can I ask if anyone's going to Galaxy Edge at Disney to get a lightsaber? I didn't get a lightsaber, but I actually have already been there, and I mean, hopefully soon again. Actually, yeah, soon again I will be going. So it's cool. I got to ride a ship. I was the pilot. That was pretty cool. And I will say the ride's more fun if you are the pilot. The other ones are okay. But I'm sure Mike will show up one of these days at Disney as well to go to Star Wars.
Oh, that
I will one day. I don't know when. It's pricey to go to Disney World these days, and I have annual pass to Universal Studios, so that's why I haven't been to Disney in a while. But you'll pay a hefty price for that lightsaber. That is for sure. But it is cool to construct your own lightsaber. They've done it before in different areas of Disney in the past. So it's just that you can actually do it here in the Galaxy's Edge.
Also, I feel like we have a new watcher because I've never seen him. Lone Wanderers is not looking forward to Birds of Prey as much as I thought it would have.
Yeah. Cool.
So, go on, Brent.
I was just gonna say, and thanks for watching. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I think I know Lone Wanderer. I mean, he sounds familiar.
Okay. Cool.
He's one of Michael's viewers. We have almost 20 viewers, so thank you guys for watching. And we're going to move on to the next thing, which is more 2099 one-shots. And yeah, this is some old news just because we weren't on last week, but there was some news that followed up. So we have Doctor Doom that's getting a one-shot, Venom. Who else is getting a one-shot? Ghost Rider. There's also like an Omega series that's going to come out of it. So there's a lot of one-shots. So let's
the Omega, I think, is... Oh, okay. The Omega, I think, is the conclusion. Yeah, it's the conclusion of the whole thing. I'm not surprised by it because back when they were doing 2099, every single title they announced, they've done minis or full-on series of. So it's nice to see them coming back with all those. I don't know if I'm going to read all of them, but I'm interested in seeing where they're going with 2099. It's interesting they're doing an event for 2099 when we just got rid of Miguel 2 years ago, and now Miguel's back. So we'll see. I'm interested in it. Why couldn't there be a Deadpool 2099 cryptid? You know what? I agree. I would like that.
Did they have that? They had that female.
All right.
Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. That. What was she? I don't remember what era she came from, but she was out for a little bit too.
Yeah.
Or Brant 2099.
I want to see what that would look like. Would it just be Brant with a cane? I mean,
it's still gonna look like this.
2 canes.
2 canes. Well, we got that covered right here. So,
damn kids, get off my lawn.
I'm excited for the 2099 stuff. I'm interested in why they're really doing all this. I mean, do you think they could do these one shots for possibly reasons, maybe making this an alternate universe again, having a 2099 universe? Because Nick Spencer's releasing his, the 2099 series or the one shot for that. I mean, that's all tied into it, right?
Yeah, that's tied in. Let's throw that in. That Nick Spencer, out of all people, is doing 2099. I will buy it just because it's Nick Spencer, and I don't even like 2099.
I'm interested in it. Yeah.
I just hope they do something fresh with it and it makes us interested again, because like when the originals came out, really the only 2 that I liked was X-Men and Spider-Man. I couldn't get into any of the others. Right. X-Men I thought was really cool because they had like completely different characters. I actually have some of the toys. I think what was his name, Mean Streak or something like that, the speedster. Yeah, and I forget what the Bloodwing or something was there was one that looked kind of devilish. He had wings and stuff
You gotta
like
love
that.
the names. How do you even remember their names? Like that's crazy.
I don't know, because I mean I've got that first issue, and every once in a while I'll pull it out of the box and like kind of flip through it, and it's like, oh, it's kind of cool. It had a neat
why
cover.
I haven't read this in a while.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just hope they do something cool with it. Last time we saw Spider-Man 2099, it was like a train wreck. So
yeah. But do you think they could, if these one shots do well, do you think they could create a 2099 universe again?
Yeah, I think it's
That'd
possible.
be cool. I would
not?
be for it. Why not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Spider-Verse movies prove that too. Because I mean, come on, this movie came out a while ago, so we could spoil it. The ending teased Miguel, so maybe that's another reason to bring this forward.
Yeah. We did have a question from Sweet. It got buried.
He goes, I know nothing about 2099. Oh, I turned off on my. There you go.
I know nothing about 2099. Is it the main Marvel 616 universe, or is 2099 a different universe?
It's a different universe.
It's a potential future.
Yeah, it's a potential future. They're all from the future. So it's cool. It's a cool concept. Whether it's executed correctly, or I don't know if correctly, but if in a way that people find it interesting, it could be a lot of fun. And this could be an alternate universe that people might want to jump back on again. So I think it's cool.
For sure. Michael, you had an opinion on the one-shots as well, right?
Yeah, like I'm really looking forward to seeing how the 2099 one-shots are going to go, because some of the one-shot issues have been really interesting. And it's awesome to see that there are different superheroes other than Spider-Man and 2 or 3 others I can't think of off the top of my head. But it's good that the Marvel Universe is getting the 2099 and the shot of their own for their issues.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to Vampironica returning, which is cool. I like that book. I haven't liked the crossover with Jughead as much as the original Vampironica book, but I like the world, so I'll be picking it up. How about you, Brant?
Yeah, I really like that first miniseries, and I love the art in it, and I also just love kind of the take on it. I didn't think I would, because I liked Afterlife with Archie, but that was kind of the end of it. All the other ones I just couldn't really grab onto, but this one I really enjoyed for whatever reason. It was the tone of the storytelling or something, plus the art. So, I'm looking forward to more.
Aunt May 2099.
She'll be like,
nobody wants that.
She'll be bones.
That's the story, actually. It's just
no. Her story is she reverse ages, so she gets younger.
She looks like Marissa Tomei.
May Button. I honestly just want a book where literally it's 20 pages of looking at her grave, because that is what Aunt May 2099 would be.
Oh, that is cold.
It's cold, but it's true. All right, let's go on to the next thing, which is that Tony S. Daniel returns to Marvel. I believe it's just covers for the announcement, but covers is the start. Doesn't mean he won't do more. We will actually go into even the other news with Tony S. Daniel, is that he will be part of the creative team of Batman. So yes, sorry we missed this last week. It did come out, but James Tynion is the writer of Batman with Tony S. Daniel as the artist. So yeah, it'd be cool if Tony S. Daniel's doing both companies, is the point of that. But how do I feel about James Tynion? I honestly never could get into his book, so I'm like a little hesitant on this. But I heard he's going to use the Bat family more, which is cool, and that's an aspect I did like about his Detective Comics run, even though I didn't really love the way he wrote Stephanie. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'll give it a shot. I'll read it no matter what. But I understand why they went that direction, but I don't know if that's my cup of tea. But we'll see. Let's go on with Mike on this one, because you marked down for both of them. So
yeah. So I don't know, the creative team. Well, the writer at least. Wasn't he part of Batman Eternal?
Yeah, he was part of it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not huge on that, but at this point of the game, I'm ready for Tom King to leave. So any new creative writer on that title is probably an upside at this point. Tony S. Daniel, love the guy's artwork. Since ever since I started seeing his artwork in like New 52 and some of the stuff that he did early in Marvel in the 90s and stuff like that, I think he's got great artwork, man. And so for him to come back to Marvel and to at least do cover art, at least for now, I think is cool because his cover art is beautiful. And to do pencils in the Batman book, at least you'll have good artwork in that book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for it. We'll see what happens with Batman. Only time will tell. We just gotta get through Tom King right now.
Yeah, I really like Tony S. Daniels' art as well. Tiny and that's Scott Snyder's protege, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why it's like, I think similar to Scott Snyder, he like starts off with a really good premise and stuff like that, and then it just kind of you get buried under the weight of it sometimes.
I feel like it's just the dialogue. Sometimes he can get dialogue heavy. Sometimes he's not. But I mean, if Justice League proves anything between Snyder and Tynion, I mean, God, how long does it take to read a Justice League book nowadays?
That's true.
That's my only reserve with that one.
Yeah, as far as Daniel doing some Marvel work, I'm with Mike. I'm excited to see that, and I hope it kind of it transitions into more like actual interiors and stuff.
Yeah.
like that. Mm-hmm. That'd be really cool.
But Tony S. Daniel's an awesome artist. I'm excited to see all of his work across the board. I think, especially when it comes to artists, I think they should have the ability to be in both companies. I mean, I know that like DC goes nuts. They got Bendis exclusively. Marvel goes nuts when they get other writers exclusively. I feel like at this point, yes, it's a competition, but I mean, at this point, every writer and artist should be able to do an arc or whatever and then be able to go on to another company without an issue. Or like such a, oh, he's back.
Yeah, totally.
And just want to say hi to Joshua because he said hi. So
Hi, Joshua.
Hi, Joshua.
And we got up to 22 viewers, so thank you
Awesome.
for that.
20 viewers, that's a lot. That's
yeah.
awesome.
It's
Thank you,
decent.
guys.
It's good.
So let's go to the next topic. I think we all talked about that one. So Ironheart gets canceled. Let's go to Brant.
Oh man, I'm kind of torn by this because it's like I enjoy the book, but I can understand why it's canceled. It's like it's a middle ground book. It's nothing that's like okay.
Sorry, I had to do that.
What the hell?
Is that his reaction to Ironheart getting
a little Ric Flair up in here. Just start chopping somebody here in a
He's
minute.
move on the viewers.
But no, it's like it's an okay book, and I thought this last arc where she went to Wakanda and stuff was kind of interesting and everything, but overall as a series I can totally see why it's not getting catching fire or whatever. So hopefully they'll come back with it and do something different with her later on.
Yeah, I liked the book a lot when it started out, and I definitely think it's better than Bendis's run, which is weird to say when he's the creator, but I also felt like it kind of fizzled out, where it's like, where are you going with this book? It didn't really have a direction, so I'm okay with the ending. I honestly didn't like the Wakanda arc, and I was planning on dropping it, so I'll finish it through.
I tried it a little while, and I was just like, Riri's just not a character for me, so.
Yeah. And let's go to the next thing, which is the last comic book news, and that is Tony Stark is dead. Long live Iron Man 2020. So let's go to Michael again, right? He's always dead. Let's go to Michael on this. What do you think?
So I saw the news that Tony Stark was dead, which was really something, but I did see the new costume kind of for Iron Man.
And that's convinced you that it's fine.
That means everything's gonna be okay.
I looked at it.
Dead body, but at least he has a cool costume in the grave.
That's right.
I was like this. I was like, some of it was not really. I mean, I know that he fused with Ultron from what I heard, which is why he looks like that. But I mean, the two things over his shoulders. I mean, that it's like he turned into an iron clock. Like the clock that has all those wheels and
they
stuff.
do like gears, yeah.
An iron clock.
So you're saying that it's fine that he's dead now? I thought you were like,
no. I'm saying that that he's dead and everything. I just didn't like the new. I wasn't really for the new costume. It just looked like he's a clock with those things.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Tick tock, tick tock. There you go, Mike. Just
He should be called TikTok Man.
a tick tock.
That's the spin-off series.
Long
So-
live TikTok, man. Forget Iron Man.
And yeah, and his time is up.
Iron Man had his baby.
Yeah, his
TikTok
time is up
Man.
because he's dead. Yeah, there's the costume.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
That does look
CM
like
Punk
TikTok.
Iron Man.
right.
How do you like?
How does he
hold it?
move his arm?
How does
How
he
is that
do that?
Yeah, and look at the mask. It's like he's from Battlestar Galactica.
I like the helmet. That's the only thing I like is the helmet.
It's
crazy.
old.
It's all right.
Ron.
It's just the big,
Yeah,
the
it's
shoulder
It's like
gear.
every time you punch, it's gonna be like, oh, I can't punch.
It's like, wait, Big Ben needs a cog. Hold on.
Oh man,
Take it from me.
Any
That's what
other
it reminded
thoughts?
me of. Big Ben. Thank you. That was what it was.
He's gonna live in Big Ben. Any other thoughts on
No.
this one? Okay,
Tick Man.
the Tick Man. Well, Brant and I think Mike, are you good with that topic as well?
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
good.
it's
Yeah, cool. Let's move on to some media news, guys. We're gonna do all the DC news, all the CW news together. So first up, we got Willa Holland returning for the last season of Arrow. Then we have the big news, which is the Tom Welling and Erica Durance are also returning for the Crisis of Infinite Earths. We got the Birds of Prey Huntress returning for Crisis. And then also a CW Canary show. So there's a lot of news here. We'll talk about Crisis first, and then we can talk about the Arrow stuff. But Crisis, it's cool. I hope they give us some surprises, though. I hate that they're announcing all this. It would have been nice if I saw it on screen and didn't know about it previously.
I think that would have made for a really awesome shock factor. Oh my God, Tom Welling's back.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
that would have been cool. I agree with you guys. Like, don't spoil everything. Like, now that you know these characters are all making a comeback, it's kind of okay. I mean, it's cool. You'll be like, oh wow, that's really cool to see. But wouldn't that really be neat though if you got that whole shock factor? Like, it would make you, I think, want to tune into the show more. You know, I think enough of it would have been like, oh yeah, Crisis, is coming. That's great. And then it surprises you instead of revealing everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's like the sad part of, I guess, the world we live in. But yeah, I'm really excited for all of it. It's going to be cool to see all those Supermen.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool. Like, obviously, those big names like Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, it's like, okay, use those to promote it, but all the other ones, leave that as a surprise. Like anybody from Birds of Prey, we don't need an announcement for that. I think it's cool because I love that show.
Oh, it's fun. It's a fun early 2000s show.
Yeah. And Ashley Scott, I like her as an actress too. And I don't see her in much, so it's kind of cool. And it's like, all right, that's neat. But I agree with that. It would have been cool just to have them pop up and kind of geek out in the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Any other thoughts on those, or we'll move on to the other CW stuff? So the other CW thing was, again, Willa Holland returning to Arrow, and then the Canary show. Obviously, very excited for Willa Holland. I love Thea, and she had a really cool arc when she ended. Excited to see where that goes. And Canaries, I'm interested. I don't know if I want a spinoff just because, I like the Arrow's ending and it's been at the break, but I also think there is a story for these three characters, especially Mia Smoke. She's a new character. It'd be kind of cool to see how she is as a Green Arrow. So yeah, I'll watch it, obviously. I think it's cool. How about you, Brent?
Yeah, I love that part of that season where they kept going into the future and stuff with the Canaries. That was like my favorite part of that whole season, and it kind of revitalized the show for me a little bit. And so yeah, I'm totally down with seeing more of that world and that dynamic. And of course, Willa Holland. I mean, she grew so much as a character on that show, and as an actress too, I think. So I'm always excited to see her come back.
Yeah, and Tevye asks, why do we need a spinoff? I mean, that goes for any show, I feel. And honestly, I think there's a story to tell with these characters. I mean, have we seen a lot of Arrow? Sure, but it does well for them. So, of course, they're going to want to butter it up a bit. And I think Katie Cassidy is the one who pitched it. So, obviously they want to be in good graces for an actor that's been with them for a really long time.
Yeah.
So let's move on to some interesting news. Madam Web gets a solo movie at Sony.
No.
What is that going to look like?
That's gonna look like Sony keeping Spider-Man for another 6 years because they did.
When I saw that, I'm like, really? Like,
I must have forgot to mark that one. Oh god.
Oh yes, let's have a Madam Web movie. That's gonna be amazing.
That's gonna be the best.
Other than read the future.
My webs.
check it out. I guess it might go into the detail of like who Madam Web is and how she kind of, I guess, made like the web of life, like
But
the
Mike,
Spider-Verse or something like that.
Story. There doesn't seem to be a story. It doesn't make sense.
There's gonna be a story, damn it. There has to be. It's gonna show her like, weaving the web.
Are we gonna care what that story is?
No.
I think honestly, the story, if I'm like being completely serious, I think the story will be is how did she become Madam Web? Do I care? No.
No.
Will that be the story? Probably. How did she predict the future?
I can't believe this.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Madam Web is like the most uninteresting character in the Spider-Man mythos.
I mean,
to me.
she's nice to be in a Spider-Man moment, like in a Spider-Man event, but not as the focal point or the whole star of the show.
Next to Morbius. Like, do I need to have
Hey,
a movie
they
about
were
him?
gonna make a Morbius movie,
I
and they
think,
were
aren't
gonna
they
make.
still?
There
Yeah, I
should
think
be a
they are
Morbius
still.
movie over Madam
I'm
Web.
fine with
They're both
Morbius. Yeah,
They are creating that is in development. The
Yeah.
Morbius movie that's
my
actually
God.
happening.
Sony's
Did you see
desperate.
Cryptic? Look what he said. Cast Betty White as Madam Web.
No.
I'd watch it.
That'd be
Hey,
awesome.
I would
I'll
watch
be
it
in a
with Betty White. Come on.
I would
Just
only
because.
watch that movie if Betty White is Madam Web.
If Betty White is Madam
That'd be
Web,
awesome.
I think I'd go see it.
Yeah, a lot of people would. So you're right, Cryptic.
God.
Yeah, so as you can see, we're not very happy about that. But let's turn over to the news we are happy about. Spider-Man Returns for one more movie at Marvel. And honestly, it's more of the question. I don't think it's like we're obviously all happy. That's not going to be the question. The question is, do you think this is going to be the last movie Tom Holland will do as Spider-Man?
I personally don't think so. I think what this does is this buys time for Sony and Disney to make a longer term deal. And so this just quiets the fans for a little bit and again gives them more time. So I don't know if that's what you guys are thinking, but that was my thought process behind it.
That's exactly what I think. It's their chance to kind of like, okay, it's going to take 2 years to make a movie, 1 year before it comes out with all the editing and whatnot. We have plenty of time to figure out how everybody can get their greedy money and not have to worry about,
Yeah, there was something Feige, however you say his last name. Feige. There was something he said. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it kind of hinted at like, you never know what's going to happen kind of thing. So I totally agree with you guys. I think that's kind of where it's headed. They're buying time. In the meantime, they're giving fans a little bit of what they want, but Sony still gets to, like you said, Chris, make their money. So
make their Madam Web movie. They need the money. So
yeah.
So Michael, what do you think?
No, I was just saying, like, well, with Sony being desperate with all the movies, I mean, I think that he plays a great Spider-Man and all that, but if this is going to be his last one, it's like going from actors to actors to actors. They went to like what 3 actors already to play Spider-Man. I mean, they can't.
And only 2 of the 3 played him good.
Yeah, I mean, they should do like keeping like Captain America as Chris Evans and then Rob Downey Jr. as Iron Man. That was just one. They never had to switch actors. Why they have to do it for Spider-Man is really beyond me.
Well, let's hope that they sign a deal. So I was going to say Tobey Maguire.
Tom
Holland will.
Tobey Maguire returns 2020. Tobey Maguire. Spider-Man
Tobey
4.
Maguire 2099.
I was just about to say that.
He's like right?
He's going to be in the Carnage movie. That's the news.
Oh God.
All right. Well, let's go to the last news piece, the thing that's our thumbnail, and as the Birds of Prey trailers. So the question being, even if you didn't see the trailer, do you think this could save? I know some people like Suicide Squad, but for the overall audience, they didn't. So do you think this could redeem the movie? And also, honestly, I think the more important question, do you think this could redeem Margot Robbie's version of Harley Quinn? And for me, I don't think it's going to redeem Suicide Squad. I think that's a question for the second movie and what James Gunn does with that. But redeeming Harley, yes. Do I think this is going to be a good Birds of Prey movie? No. I think it's going to be a good Harley movie, a fun Harley movie. But I can already tell Cassandra's talking. Like, I don't want that from Cassandra. You're already not being comic book accurate at all. Like, she's actually talkative. That's even worse. Just like making jokes. I'm like, that's not Cassandra. That's not her character. But I think it could be a fun type of movie, and it looks like Harley's going in a better direction, and that's all I'm excited for. And I think it's going to be a popcorn flick. I don't think it's going to be a Wonder Woman or Shazam. No. I just hope I have fun with it.
Mm-hmm. I tend to agree. Suicide Squad I liked. I didn't love, but I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was the worst movie ever or anything like that. But I tried to watch the trailer a little bit when we were talking pre-show, but obviously I couldn't hear it that well because we were talking. So I got a little bit of the feel of it, and I totally get what you mean about Cassandra, and that I don't like that as much either. As far as the question of it, whether it redeems Suicide Squad, no, and I agree with you on that too, because I think just the tone and the vibe of it is completely different, that it feels like a different thing. Even though Harley was in both, it just feels like it's separate to me, just watching it. But yeah, I liked Harley in it. I think I need to rewatch it and kind of get the full feel of it before I can really get my full opinion on it, though.
Did anyone else see the trailer? Any thoughts on it?
I did, and I was underwhelmed. I felt myself going, Harley looks cool, but I can see it already now. Harley is going to annoy the shit out of me because I feel like she's going to be overused, and I feel like the other characters are not going to be used enough. And I felt that watching this trailer, and I felt like this is Harley Quinn and some other people. I didn't get anything out of all the other characters when I watched it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think you can compare this and Suicide Squad. I think they're going to be two totally different types of movies, but I don't know. I just didn't get a good feel for this. Harley Quinn, yeah, I think she plays a great Harley Quinn, but that can't be the only thing that sells the movie, and it unfortunately it's going to be, because people want to see her and they think she plays a great Harley Quinn. She does, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Any other opinions, guys?
No.
Cool. So that's actually all the news for this week. We went through a lot, and now we're getting into some. Well, first of all, we do have an announcement. So I'm going to pass it on to Brant, but then we have two announcements, and then we will go into our new format for the comics.
All right. So first up, we do have a new giveaway that is actually it's live right now. Let me grab the link for that. It's at.
Are you screen sharing it? Because then I'll back you out.
No, I wasn't going to screen share it. I was just going to grab the link and post it in the comments. It's you can find it at comicfrontline.com/giveaway, but and let me post it in the chat there. I don't have the stuff is over there. I was going to grab it and I forgot to grab it. But anyway, we're giving away a copy of Buffy Angel Hellmouth #1, which comes out next week. It's going to be the variant that looks like the TV show likenesses by Kyle Lambert. Also, Jughead the Hunger volumes 1 through 3 trade paperbacks, and an Oogie Boogie Dorbs figure from Nightmare Before Christmas. That's the total package. Kind of, it's Halloween month.
That's not Lex Luger. Excuse you.
It's Halloween month, so we wanted to kind of go Halloweenish with the giveaway this time, and so those are your prizes, and it is live now. The link is in the chat there, and we'll post it in the description post live for the video as well. And it runs for 2 weeks as usual, so go check it out. And the other announcement is, let me get rid of this thing.
Zoom in.
Yeah. Close that. ComicFrontline.com has a new look. If you go to ComicFrontline.com, this is the new website. It's kind of hard to see it, but kind of zoom in a little bit there.
I meant to take it. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, you'll have to go on it to get the full feel for it. What's that?
I want to work on all of it, so take some compliments that he worked really hard to get this together. And
yeah.
One thing we'll say is that this is not going to be a news site. It's going to be an us site where it's really about our opinions. So we'll have the top 5 panels, and we're going to have the show on there. We're going to have polls, and it's going to be you guys say too. So you interact with us. You can tell us your favorite comics. And also we're going to post our videos from our individual sites. So it's one place you could click on for all our content.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And it does have the entire archive from the blogger on it right now, though, just so you guys know, so you can go find everything.
Only new stuff ahead.
Yep. So it's legit. It's a legit website.
Yep.
There you go. So we're like big boys now.
Big boy pants.
It's going to be cool. That's all the announcements. So we're actually passing on to Michael. What?
Yep.
And a new segment.
Yes. So the new segment that we have for the show is called Under the Radar. And how this is going to work is that, now see, mostly the books that I read, mostly none of them read, which is okay because usually I like to read other comic books and stuff like that. Some I read for them are the same, some aren't. So I choose one book every week of something that I'm pretty sure none of them read and explain a little bit about it. So I've read 7 books this week, so I made this my number 6 for the Under the Radar. And the book I want to talk about is Warlord of Mars Attacks, issue number 4. Have any of you read it?
No, explain why we should be reading it.
Yeah.
Okay, I will explain then. Great. So thinking that the aliens killed John Carter in the last issue, he actually got back to his homeland, which was a big surprise, and there were aliens that invaded in his homeland through this portal-like thing. And between him and the rest of the team that were in there, they definitely did awesome fighting against the aliens, and even his Pitbull came into action as well. And the thing that was a huge cliffhanger in the end is that as an alien tried annihilating John Carter, because that was their mission of what they were supposed to do, thinking that they did kill him, Dr. Norman, who was a teammate of helping John Carter get back to his homeland, took a bullet and basically sacrificed himself. And that's where it's to be continued. The artwork, though, now here's the thing. I'm looking at the artwork very carefully in this one. It's okay, sort of. Like, I'm kind of seeing what you guys were talking about, how the artwork was. I mean, the story was good, nonetheless. It's just the artwork in this one, I don't know. It kind of didn't fill me for this one. But the story was great, like I said, nonetheless. So, I mean, this is definitely why you guys in the group or out there watching should definitely check it out.
How would you compare this one to past John Carter series, Michael? Because I know you read a bunch of
Well,
them.
this one, John Carter was in his homeland and with his wife, Deja Torres.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she did appear in this issue mostly, and the only difference is they're not really fighting side by side because they're really good when they're teaming up with each other. And I think because of the crossover, maybe that's why the story's a little bit different than the other ones, because not saying that the crossover is not better than the other ones. Like, it's just a little bit different just because of the crossover, and it's not really in his homeland and teaming up with Deja Torres to fight against the enemies.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's the only difference I have to say about him.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions?
Good.
All right, and that's my Under the Radar book for the week.
Cool. So you want to ask what our Under the Radar books are?
Yes. So I'm going to go to Mike. What was your Under the Radar book?
My Under the Radar book this week was Superior Spider-Man issue. I don't even know.
11,
I think.
11, yeah. If you guys dropped off of Superior Spider-Man in the beginning, because it felt like it wasn't going in direction and it was lame, and he's got these little cronies that was working for him. I don't blame you, because it did suck in the beginning, and I decided to stick with it. And the direction this book has gone is to the point where Superior gets he winds up caring. He winds up wanting to help people. He wants to make a difference, and it's something that we haven't seen from the character. And so in this particular issue, we wind up seeing him. Norman Osborn gets an upper hand against him this time around, and he's going to kill a child that he pretty much loves. And so what happens is Superior is forced to make a decision. He calls our friend Mephisto, and he says, I need to be all powerful again so I can defeat Norman Osborn. And Mephisto gives him a actual choice. You can be Dr. Octopus, or what you once were, but with no disease, no illness, not controlled by your mechanical arms that will make you sick, or your kid can die, or whatever the case may be. And so through the entire issue, you're left with this anxiety of like, you have like, it's the classic thing of the devil on your shoulder and the angel on the other side, and you're trying to make a decision and you're caught in the middle. And that's what happens in this book. And so by the end of the issue, you wind up seeing, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's he going to choose? And it looks like he chooses to be Dr. Otto Octavius once again, because that's what's shown in the last page. And you're like, oh man, that sucks. And he's pissed off. And the next issue says it's the conclusion. So is that the end of this series? I didn't know that this book was actually ending. And if that's the case, then we get regular Dr. Octopus back the way we known him from the past, which is insane, because I liked him as Superior Spider-Man at this point.
Sadly, that's comics, though, is that everything has to be put back in its box.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think that he only made the decision to be Dr. Otto Octavius is because he has the mind of like Peter Parker. You know, like he didn't want to be like all like this caring guy and everything. So he wants to have like.
He did, because he wanted to actually save this boy. Norman Osborn gave him an ultimatum. He's like, you kill 3 people on your own with like, and then he goes, or this boy is going to die. So no matter what, he was stuck. He was going to lose no matter what.
Yeah, but wouldn't he not normally care because he's?
Yeah, but he's developed a conscience though now, because he does care now. So he's changed. His personality has changed as this series has gone through.
I just wanted to read this comment real quick. Cryptid.
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember why Otto gave Peter his body back? It's because he admits he's now superior. Because he's not superior because he hesitated saving a kid, but now he is sacrificing himself to save a kid, proving he is the superior Spider-Man. That's an interesting perspective on it, and it's a good point if that is what he did. I'm honestly kind of secretly hoping that he somehow made a new deal that off panel that we didn't get to see, and he still remains superior. Because I was kind of disappointed by the choice, especially after Anna Marie was just like begging him and pleading with him, and then he still does it. It's just like, man, I mean, I understand why, but it still kind of sucks, you know?
Yeah, and I agree with you. That's why I said at the end, it's kind of like, oh, well, maybe it, you know, you supposedly see him, but you're right. It could have been something that he made, you know, off camera, if you want to say too. So I liked it. I mean, if you guys haven't read Superior Spider-Man, and when this series is over or whatever the case may be, pick it up in trade. I think you guys will like this story, and you'll see the direction where this character goes.
Totally agree.
So, Michael, who's next?
All right. I thought so, Mike. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
Okay, I just want to be sure because I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
How about you, Kat? What's your under the radar book?
Mine is Dial H, issue 7. This was actually my number 6 this week, and this is honestly, I just think this is one of the best comics on stands, and it just transforms what you can do with comics, especially comic book artwork, and how it was all these different styles. This time it had multiple artists, but usually it's just one. And yeah, I just love this book so much, and I can't recommend it enough. I think if you want something truly unique, pick up Dial H. And this was a really fun issue, and honestly, it shows you how to do a filler issue, because this It could have been a filler issue, but it had a lot of heart to it, and it is kind of more than a filler issue for me. So
okay, it was a weaker issue for me, but I still enjoyed it. Like a weak issue of Dial H is still a really good issue, right? But I agree with you. It did have a lot of heart. I like that we got to peek into these normal people's lives and just, you know, kind of see what they would do as heroes. And one of them's like trying to get revenge for something bad that's happened with her, and it doesn't kind of go so well for her, which was kind of tragic at the same time. But no, I agree with you. It's a fantastic series, and if anybody hasn't been checking Dial H for Hero out, you're really missing something special.
We have a couple of comments here too. So first, Brevin said he'll be reading Dial H after the stream. That's awesome.
Sweet.
And then Tevia says my under the radar book is Shazam, mostly because this series is a ton of fun. There you go.
I just wish there wasn't. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I wish there wasn't such a big gap. I actually had to go back and read the previous issue to see where we left off, and yeah, but no,
we'll be talking about Shazam in a bit, so we'll probably talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Chris. You're under the radar book.
TMNT 98. I feel like the series is such a great. I've enjoyed this run so much. I know Mike Spider-Slayer at some point was reading it back early on. I know Brant. I keep thinking Brant read it, but I'm wrong. He never touched TMNT. And did you touch TMNT at all?
I read the Archie, the one Archie published.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's such a great series. We're about to hit the 100th issue. That's the newest thing that's in previews to pre-order right now. It's a great series. This issue, Jenica has joined the team. We have Splinter's fallen from his power with the Foot Clan. Karai has now taken over the Foot Clan again, and now it's up to the Turtles to save their father, save New York, because the Mutanimals are attacking, and I don't want to give away a big twist that happens towards the end of the book, but Old Hob made a plan without the rest of the Mutanimals knowing, and it's a bit of a twist at the end of the book, and all this is going on, and now the Turtles are kind of stuck in the middle, and now they've got to kind of save everyone from a lot of different things. Cool. I've been enjoying the series. I think it's a really great read. You can read it in trades. There are so many different ways you can read TMNT. IDW makes it really, really easy and available in multiple different types or in multiple different ways in trades, hardcovers, etc.
Yeah.
And 100's around the corner, so I'm sure you're so excited about that one.
It's like
I'm getting two covers. I'm getting two covers off the bat, and I'm probably going to get the main one when it comes out from.
I might just get 100 just because that it's hitting 100.
I would say, exactly. Yeah. Get it because it's hitting 100. There's two Kevin Eastman covers this time. I know that.
Yeah, it's just by the time like I kind of it got on my radar, it was so deep into the series. It's like, man, it was kind of daunting because it's one of those books like TMNT, because that's my childhood, right? TMNT is something that I would want to like go back and like just catch up and read the whole thing. It's not something I just want to jump into. So that's my thing with it. So maybe eventually I'll get the trades.
One trade is sold out, and I forget why. So why is Splinter in charge of the Foot Clan? Wait, in charge of the Foot Clan? Is he evil now? No. What happened was in issue 50, I'm going to really outline this quick and move on. In issue 50, Splinter versus Shredder. Splinter defeats Shredder. Splinter kills Shredder, becomes the leader of the Foot Clan. Karai goes away on a journey. There's a miniseries that follows Karai in TMNT universe. And there was also, I think, a one-shot. She goes off to journey, and while she's away, Splinter takes over the Foot Clan. Splinter is still good, but throughout the last 40 issues, he starts to fall a bit to the dark side, but because he's Splinter, he's never going to be 100% evil. So his good shines through, and now we're at City at War, and now he's been defeated. So it's like it's hard to explain, but you could definitely see him swaying back and forth up until this point, and now he's no longer a part of not a leader of the Foot Clan anymore. He basically tries to redeem the Foot Clan, but slowly finds himself kind of becoming like Shredder. And also Tevias, where Shredder is, read Shredder in Hell. The miniseries, the last two issues got delayed. I know the fifth and final part should be coming out this month in October, and then we should be done with that. I think they delayed it so that when issue 100 comes out, they can continue on with Shredder if he comes out of hell. I don't know, but there's a lot of really awesome stuff going on in the TMNT universe. But yeah, it is overwhelming, Brant, with almost 100 issues and everything's been building up to it. I'm hoping that after issue 100, people can jump in and really find a jumping on point. So Splinters, Daredevil. Yeah, basically like Daredevil in Shadowlands without being possessed, but he realized it. Unfortunately, he realized it as Karai came back and basically kicked him out of power.
All right. And finally, we go to Brand.
My Under the Radar series is a book called Omni. Issue 2 came out this week.
One thing I'll say is that this is the only book I never had heard of. So this is truly under the radar on the list.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it either.
It's from Humanoids. It's that new universe that I think Mark Waid's involved with it.
Okay.
It's
right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Devin Grayson actually writes this book, and it's really interesting. It's like this whole universe, it recently started a few months ago, and where people just start randomly getting powers. And this particular book is about a doctor who was working with Doctors Without Borders when her abilities manifest. And she was already like really intelligent, but her ability, it kind of it heightened everything that she was able to do. So now she's like, there's like 9 types of intelligence, and her mind is like working in all of them simultaneously. So when her powers activate, there's like all these different captions kind of cycling through every thought and emotion that she's feeling. So like the intelligence that deals with musicality is bringing up lyrics that kind of pertain to the situation, and so on and so forth with all these different types. And it's really interesting to see her she zones out and kind of breaks down trying to solve these issues. And like she's got this sidekick who is like her nurse in the Doctors Without Borders or something. And she's actually making a comic book about their adventures as they go on. So you get these like little interludes of her comic kind of sharing it. So it's a really interesting take on that kind of power set. And now she thinks she understands what's going on, and she's viewing this as a disease as opposed to powers, like something has affected the world, and these powers that everybody keeps getting are symptoms in her eyes, and she's looking to stamp it out before it takes over mankind. So I thought it was really interesting. The first issue was a little bit slow, but the second issue kind of really pulled me in.
That's cool. Who makes this?
Humanoids.
Huh. Yeah. Interesting. Sounds pretty cool.
Interesting too. And that's everybody for Under the Radar. So you pass it on to Mike.
Yeah.
That's a new series right there, Under the Radar. Hope you all enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments.
Yep. Yeah, let us know. And that will be every Tuesday night. So stay tuned for more.
So our goal for Comic Book Weekly is to talk more about the comics. That's our whole goal. So that's why we came up with the Under the Radar series. And now we're going to go into big book discussion, where we'll talk about so many books, and then we'll go into the top 2 and number 5. We'll talk about a few more books and then go into number 4 and so on. So if you guys would like, once I say you guys could put in your top 5 books, or I mean your number 5 book, while we discuss, I'll let you know. And then while we go through, we could try to read them off. We'll at very least highlight them for you, things like that. So we don't want you to feel left out. We don't want you to think that you're left out. But this is just another way of getting more of a discussion when it comes to the comic books than just kind of going down the line every single time. So so that's basically what we came up with. So big books. We're going to kick it off this time with Action Comics issue 1015. Okay. What did you guys think of this? Because for me, I thought this was very boring, and I was like, I don't care about Naomi in this particular book. I mean, having her team up with Superman, I guess, to learn her powers is okay, but I don't know. It just felt forced for me. It was like, oh, let me just happen to go to Superman, my hero, and let him explain everything to me, and let Batman do the analyzation of me and stuff. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of this book. What did you guys think of it?
I was bored.
I didn't read it.
Yeah, I think it could have been a little bit better. I wasn't as bored as you guys. Obviously, you guys know I enjoyed this series a little bit more. But I think they could have done more with her appearance in action than they did, as opposed to making it just kind of a filler story, like you said, where she's just kind of learning her powers and how to use it in flight. The flight thing was kind of funny, where she had to think about how to land and all that kind of stuff, but still, it was just anecdotal as opposed to just like serving.
It was a cool
solid
visual,
story.
but
Yeah.
I feel like it didn't transition well either. Because like when
Yeah.
it stopped, like
Yeah, and then my problem wasn't even the Naomi stuff. It was just like randomly throwing in a red cloud scene. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's right. Mhm.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
yeah,
Well, I
It's
think
just like,
also-
hey, let's throw in Red Cloud because you know what? I created him too, or her, or whatever it is. And
she's part of the damn series to begin with. Oh yeah.
stuff. It's just like, oh. But yeah, I think the biggest issue for me, and I think for anybody who's read Naomi, is that there was exposition about stuff we already knew. So that was definitely the most difficult part. We'll actually talk about that later, but yeah, in the later show, I'll talk a little bit more about Action Comics. But yeah, I just was a bit disappointed with this. And this is like the one kind of saving grace for this book. It's like, oh, Naomi's going to be in it. And I'm like, oh, never mind.
yeah, exactly.
I kind of felt opposite way. I said, "Oh, he's putting Naomi in it. She's going to take the spotlight. Everybody's going to be saying exactly what everybody else is saying that they were." I love Naomi, the series itself, but this was just
I'll say if you didn't read Naomi, I mean, I guess it makes sense to give some of that exposition, but I don't know. I think it could have been structured in a better way to better serve both the character and to make a more interesting and compelling story for the issue.
Brevin Campbell says something definitely fell off in action. It wasn't terrible, but it was all over the place. They forced other characters in it. Yeah. So I wasn't a huge fan. I'm glad I wasn't the only one there. I just think Naomi's kind of like one of those things where she might be better and just her own thing. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, she's going to be Young Justice or whatever the case, but I don't know. That's still yet to be determined too.
I wish we just had her series and it wasn't a mini series because I'm like, oh, I miss Naomi. That would be cool to read right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we needed more of her by herself before we kind of put her into the rest of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
All right, so the next book we're going to talk about is Amazing Spider-Man issue 30, the Absolute Carnage tie-in. So when it came to the book for me, I thought it was okay, but I know we were discussing it previously, in our group chats and whatnot, and we were thinking that maybe possibly that Kindred is connected to, I think, Kat, your theory was Harry. Correct?
Yeah, my theory was Harry. I did a video on it, but interestingly enough, I did a video and someone commented, I'm sorry, I don't have their name, and said maybe this is connected to One More Day because Harry died in One More Day and came back after a Brand New Day happened. So that also delves into all the One More Day stuff happening. So it makes even more sense to Harry and also the worms because he did die. So I know a lot of people are thinking Flash, but I think Harry, and especially since that conversation with Norman. I really like this book. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was the best Amazing Spider-Man book, but I liked learning more about Kindred himself. I love seeing Norman. I enjoyed those parts. I really liked the flashback, and Otley back on artwork was really nice.
Yeah, I think it's kind of odd, but I think the downside of this issue was the tie-in to Absolute Carnage. Now, I like some of the inner dialogue going on about Norman, about all that stuff, about how much he's affected Peter's life, and I think that was the beauty of that part of it. But had this not been an Absolute Carnage story and it was just kind of like a regular Spider-Man story, I think it might have given us more, at least in my view. But overall, I enjoyed it. I agree with you, Kat. I don't think it was the best issue of the series, but there was a lot to hang on to here, both with the Kindred stuff and things that he said, like I think we both picked that panel about what he said about Peter keeps screaming out Gwen's name when he's sleeping.
Crazy?
Yeah. It's just,
Isn't it
yeah,
crazy?
just
It was
creepy.
a small panel that well, first of all, let's talk about, go check out our panels from this week.
Yeah.
Me and Brant, we did not discuss this with each other.
No.
Literally picked the same top 3. And what's so
Yeah.
weird about it is like they really are, that's a sliver of a panel. Like Brant's not like, oh, let me put the whole page, which would totally been easy. We both picked that sliver of a panel.
Yeah.
Because I think it really was like, it spoke a lot. Because what I really like about Nick Spencer is that Spencer doesn't make MJ jealous. I think a lot of Spider-Man writers have done that in the past, where she's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Peter, Spider-Man, this girl, that, and MJ's not that type of person. And I love that. It's not that she's upset that, you know, he misses Gwen. Like, she gets it. You know, it's just like, I understand that. And I wish I could do something for him.
Yeah. No,
I think as an Absolute Carnage tie-in, I thought it was poor.
I understand that.
I think as if it was its own story, like we've been getting with other issues, I think the Kindred part would have been great. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what this book is about. But when you say Absolute Carnage tie-in, you would expect it to deal more with Absolute Carnage and not so much of the Kindred character, which those moments were great. That's fine. But when you focus on Absolute Carnage and all you deal with is Norman Osborn's beating the shit out of me and I'm rescuing the kids, that's a weak tie-in, in my opinion, especially as the main Spider-Man title. But Kindred stuff, yes, was really good. And it kind of dives into that mystery. So that's cool stuff there. You know, we'll see what happens. I'm very curious, though, man. You do make a good point there, Kat. So we'll see what happens where this character or when this character is actually revealed. That's what I want to know, man. Like, when is he going to reveal it?
In all honesty, I know, Michael, you read this book too. So do you have theories of who Kindred is? Did you enjoy it?
Like, I read, like, the Amazing Spider-Man with Kindred is that, how can I put this? Like, he does go back to Mysterio and everything, but then he knows, like, a little bit more about Norman Osborn also. So I like what are you asking? Like, is he playing like
do you think it's Harry as well? And honestly, you bring up the Mysterio part, which also connects to One More Day. So that's really cool as well. But did you like the issue? I guess is the overall question.
No, like, I really liked the issue. I thought it was really awesome about that. But between what I noticed with Superior and Amazing Spider-Man, just to compare to comic books, it's been like Norman Osborn's one thing in Superior and Norman Osborn's another thing in Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, it's kind of like picking like Norman as the fan favorite for the Spider-Man.
Norman Osborn is always a fan favorite.
Yeah, he's always.
No, I understand that. And I also like in this issue, and I think it was this issue, how they talked about his past with the birthday party that he had in the past. So, you know, there was kind of like little flashbacks here and there, but I don't know. I think Kindred's one of those characters that he's trying to be like one of those major characters to be something big in the Spider-Man villains thing.
It's definitely Nick Spencer trying to leave his mark on Spider-Man for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I think he has, but I also agree with Mike. Like, all right, get on with it. You know, like
yeah. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's do it.
But again, that thing with Norman, where you know it's like you already won. You know, you affected his life in so many different ways. I thought that was poetic, but at the same time,
very true too.
Yeah,
it's very true.
Sorry, you gotta deal with the ice for a second.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next book. And if you guys want to start putting your number 5 book down, you can, because that's where we're going to talk about where our number 5 book was for the week. So if you want to start putting it in the comments, go ahead so we can get that ready. All right. So the next book we're going to talk about is Bloodshot number 1. I didn't personally read this. I didn't get a chance to. But what'd you guys think of Bloodshot number 1? Who read it?
I read it.
Right.
I read it.
All right. Do you want to start, Brand?
No, you go ahead.
So what I thought about Bloodshot issue number 1 was like, we all know that Bloodshot is being hunted by the people because in the past volumes there was something about a lab experiment that he was being experimented on. So now there are people want to hunt him down because he's known to be a danger in society. And if you want to like kind of get an understanding of his character, you might want to get other volumes, but I guess not, because in the ending, when it talks about the backstory where General Garel talks about hunting Bloodshot, they show like different panels of what happened in the past, which actually makes sense of why Bloodshot is being hunted down for that part. But I thought it was like a pretty good issue. He's still that same character with the nanites and trying to stay alive, like being indestructible, if that's the word. And yeah, I thought it was really awesome. Pretty good.
I was a bit confused at first. I mean, I appreciate the recap and stuff like that they gave us, and I thought the art was pretty good. I was a bit confused because I haven't read Bloodshot in a while. I think I missed the past few miniseries because they keep relaunching it. But just kind of based on what I did know about him, like I said, I was confused where this story was taking place and kind of what he was up to at this point. So without that recap, I think I would have been totally lost. But I thought it was an interesting way to go with this version of the story, and it seems like he's kind of shedding his government ties and trying to become a hero, if I'm getting that right, as far as what he's trying to do now, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it was okay. I don't know if it like grabbed me enough to where I want to stick with it. I'll probably give I'll give it one more issue to try it. But I'm not the hugest Bloodshot fan either. I keep trying the character and it just doesn't stick. It's one of those that I want to get into, but it doesn't stick. I did like the Rye preview that we got in it too, though. So
yeah, I think if you read the other issues, because I know how you feel, because remember when I used to read a comic book and then they said if you read past volumes, you get to understand the book. So I could definitely understand why you're not that character is really not your favorite. And I respect your opinion, totally, respect that. But yeah, like I said before, if nobody's read the past volumes of the book, then they won't get an understanding of it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, that's something that they should definitely fix, right? So it should be much more new reader friendly if it's going to be a number one. So that's my only critique on it.
All right. Very good. All right. So now we'll take a break on discussing the books and see what our number 5 are. My number 5 was Amazing Spider-Man, issue 30. Mm-hmm. So, Michael, what was your number 5?
My number 5 was Red Hood Outlaw, issue number 38. And the reason only why I put that as my number 5 book is because, what I noticed about this comic is that, Jason Todd, he does all these like this team. What's it called? Generation Outlaw. I don't know if any of you read it.
No,
I stopped reading it.
Yeah, I did too. Sadly.
Yeah, his team. They here's the thing. They fight somebody, and then in the end, Jason Todd's saying, "Oh, he's already on the team, so there was no reason fighting him." So that was kind of a little bit of right there. But then you get more Bizarro and Artemis who are caring for this old lady who turned small, and they put her in a jar. And then something in the end where this huge Superman doll that Bizarro used to have in the end come to life. So I don't know. I felt this being kind of a weird issue, but with all the 7 books that I read, I definitely say it does fit for number 5 at least.
Okay. All right. Christopher.
Number 5 we're on?
Yep.
Number 5 goes to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 43. I enjoy it. We didn't talk about that, I'm sure.
No. Yeah. I'm the only other one who reads it. So
we're the only two that read it. So I enjoyed the issue. I it's crazy how, because the Morphin Grid is so screwed up now, or because we have things bleeding in through what happened in Shattered Grid, it's crazy to see Tommy got beat down so quick in this issue, and then the Zords, and like slowly but surely, this I forgot what his name was. He's
Dog. It's someone with a D. It was like Dane, the villain.
Dane, yeah,
Yeah.
just destroying the Power Rangers piece by piece, instead of just eliminating them, and like he says, Zordon just finding new Rangers, more powerful Rangers. So I loved it. I enjoyed it. I love the Omega Rangers most of all, though. That's my favorite part. Artwork's great. Story has definitely been solid since Necessary Evil started. I'm really loving the back and forth between this and Go-Go.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same writer, which is great. And I love Ryan. And I really enjoy this issue. I've been enjoying Go-Go a little bit more than Mighty Morphin, but I like that Dane has become a real villain, and he's targeting all their weaknesses. And I love the phone call between Kimberly and Trini where she's like, yeah, I just want to talk to you because I don't know if things are going okay. Like, we might die. He's like, never mind, I'm sure we'll be fine. And then the last panel is pretty much like them maybe dying. So we'll see how guilty Trini and the rest of the crew, they're lying to their friends and doing the Omega Ranger stuff. So I think there's a lot of good interpersonal stuff there.
I feel like they're gonna eventually it's gonna come back, like they're gonna admit, hey, we're doing this, and that's what's gonna make something new for the timeline.
Yeah, so we'll see. I thought it was a really cool issue, and I'm really excited to see where they take it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other comments on Go-Go Power Rangers?
I think we're good.
All
Wait.
right.
Grant, I know you have a comment about Go.
No.
No, you don't. Right? No, you don't. No.
Grant loves Power Rangers.
He does.
It's morphin' time.
It is. It's more for time.
So, Kat, we'll move on to you. What is your number 5?
Mine's a book that maybe Brant reads, and that's Jughead Time Police, issue
Yes,
4.
I actually caught up on it. Yeah.
I love this book. It's so much fun. It's exactly what I want from an Archie book, and you get to see all these different type of Jugheads in there. You get to see a cable version of Jughead and them interacting, which was really fun. It's just purely a fun book, and the artwork's really cool, so I like it.
Yeah. I love the different takes on Jughead through this, and like at the end of the last issue, important into this one, where Jughead the Hungry even comes into there. It's like, oh
Yeah.
wow, they went everywhere with it. It was kind of cool. It's a fun book. It's I don't know. It's one of those. It's like off the wall enough to where like if you don't like Archie, you'll still like this because it's just fun and kind of goofy and kind of. It's one of those like all these different kind of comic books do it. Like Garfield has like the Super Force, and Darkwing Duck like brought in all kinds of Darkwing Ducks at some point. It's that kind of thing. It's just fun. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Alan Mullins says you don't like Power Rangers because you're a kind of G.I. Joe kind of guy.
That's true. Oh, shit. We forgot to talk about the G.I. Joe news.
That's all right. They cast Baroness. She looks the part. There we go.
Yeah.
Looking
She
forward
does
to
the
it.
part, yeah. All right. So, Brant, your last one to go on your number 5 pick of the week.
And it's funny because it ties into our next big book, which is Harleen.
Okay.
Harleen number 1 is that's my number 5. I know, Kat. I think you're the only one of us that read it.
Oh, no, I think Mike read it as well. I thought you were going to say I was the only one who didn't like it.
I finished it.
Yeah, of the ones of us that read it, I think you're
Oh.
the only one.
I finished it, and Michael didn't read it, right?
I don't think
What
so.
was it?
Harleen.
Harleen.
Oh no, I couldn't. It was
Too long, yeah.
it wasn't too long. Like, I mean, yeah, that's part of it, but the other thing was that I didn't really have the time to read it.
I wish you just said I didn't want to.
No. I'm being serious. I
understand. But I want to hear your thoughts first, Brandon. I'll tell you why I didn't hate it. Why I just I'll get the next issue.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, it was for me. I had to like read it in like 3 sittings. It was one of those that it took time to kind of like invest myself into it, and it was a long read. But I kind of liked this take on Harley's origin story, basically, and the way that she comes into interaction with Joker and just pulled into that entire world. I love the way that it was paced. I thought the art was absolutely gorgeous, and just ending on that note where she calls him Mr. J for the first time. It's like, oh my God, I like soaked it all up.
Yeah,
I would like when in those sessions when I was reading it, I only stopped so I could read some other books in between it. But when I was reading, I was like just like pulled in completely to it. So yeah, I like the way that they kind of told the story of like how she couldn't decide what she wanted to be and kind of settled on this therapist thing, like after kind of throwing everything else against the wall, and decides that, hey, I like listening to people. Why not? But she's like super intelligent too, which I love that we don't see that enough. Her intelligence kind of play out. We see like the goofier side of Harley Quinn more often. So I like that they kind of focused on that in this story, and kind of we see slowly how it's going to start breaking down though. And I think that's what they kind of did really well establishing here.
I agree with you on that aspect.
You
pretty much. Yeah. Sorry. On all those levels.
No, you go.
Can you hear me all right?
I think Cat might be delayed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Am I delayed?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was in stereo. I came back to am I delayed? And yeah.
I wonder if she was delayed because Chris was coming on.
Oh,
no,
maybe.
No. I just literally stepped in now when I heard the yeah.
I'm back.
I had my headset open, so I heard it from the other room.
So, Cat, say two. Say
Hello.
One.
Hello?
Say two after somebody says one. 1,
2.
There you go.
4.
Okay.
Okay. Going back to Harley. I liked it as well. I liked seeing this more serious side to her, and seeing this this type of origin story, and seeing her intelligence, like you said, Brant. I thought that was really cool. Artwork was gorgeous, and yes, it did suck me in. And having her see like violence for the first time was kind of cool. Her eyes were so fresh to it, and her getting the job for the first time, and just learning everything about her, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
When I read it in 2 sittings, and I can honestly say that I should have read it in 3, because I did feel it was a bit long. And there was times where it's like, okay, this could have ended a few pages ago, but I still really like the story,
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the second issue now to see how kind of like she gets infatuated with him.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really looking forward to.
See, I'm more excited for the next dark label one, or whatever it's called, black label one, where it's Harley and Joker, and she's like more of like a Jessica Jones type character. So I'm like more excited for that. But I like the artwork a lot. But I think I sat one sitting to read this and read all my comics. But this is actually the first book I read, thankfully. But
you're talking about Harleen, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Harleen. And my issue is that I know the story. For me, there wasn't enough freshness to say I need to pick up the next issue, because I know where it's gonna go.
I read this first as well, and I felt the same way. It's like, okay, why do we get nothing new? It's like everything we know about Harley before she became Harley Quinn was put in this first issue. What did I pay $5 for?
More, I think. It was it.
You paid more than that.
It was like $9, $8.
Yeah.
It's an oversized, but it's an oversized, right? It's a
It's
I-
$8.
it's a
It's
bigger
an $8 magazine type.
Okay,
thing.
no, that's what I meant. It's an oversized. Okay. I only bought the first issue physically. I decided to stay digital for issue 2. I decided not to go ahead and pre-order in advance. I'm glad I didn't.
Also, Toby says this sounds like Mad Love. It is, but it's more focused on Harley. It's not about the Joker. It's about her. And it's obviously raunchier. And then also, but going back to the oversized thing, how the hell am I going to put this in my box? That sucks.
Yeah.
Those oversized, those are my trades. I don't know if you could see it. The row right. Spirit, I'll get up. The row right over here. This is how I'm doing my oversized right now.
Oh, you stack them on top.
God, yeah. I don't have that many oversized.
Wow, I don't either. Not even close.
Go on, Mike.
Yeah, I actually, where I keep my trades, I put them in a magazine bag and board, and then I just stick them upright. So I put them with all the other DC label books, the black label books, and they're just in their own little section on my bookcase, and that's the way I put them.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure it out, and that is a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all I can do for the time being.
I think people are a lot like you either liked it or you didn't like it. I don't think there was very many in between people.
And no one knows how to pronounce the artist's name, and he actually like in artist/writer, and he posted it on Twitter. He's like, "Don't worry." He's like, "I watched all these YouTube videos. I don't even know. Like, he didn't even correct anybody. He just like, no one knows how to pronounce my name, and that's okay."
I've been mispronouncing his name for years. He's done a lot of Top Cow work.
Mm-hmm. I've read not his really raunchy stuff, but I read one of his really raunchy stuff, and honestly, it was really good. I think it was the Sunstone one. That's pretty good. I didn't read the Swingers one, but he's a really good writer. Like, he's a really good writer. He's a good artist, and he did Aquaman for a little while, I think, as well. Yeah. And his wife, I really liked her stuff on. I forgot what it's called. I think it was like Bloodstain. That was really good. It's like a slice of life book about this young woman who doesn't know what to do with her life and doesn't have a job, and she ends up working for this crazy scientist because she doesn't know what to do with her bio degrees. So I thought it was really fun.
Cool. All right. Well, we talked about Harleen, and that was our big book, and the other two books are no one really read, so we're not going to go into those particular ones. So we'll just jump into the number 4. If the viewers want to put down what their number 4 pick was for the week, go ahead and, we'll shout you out. So my number 4 of this book was the book we just talked about, Harleen. So that makes it pretty simple. So, Kat, what was yours?
Mine was, hold on. I don't know. I think it was Batman. Yeah, it was Batman Curse of the White Knight issue 3. Same. I really like this issue. There's slow parts, but the ending, man. You got Jim Gordon dying in an alley.
Oh, wait, I forgot. God. See, this is what happened.
Oh, spoiler alert. Whatever.
Thing. Boop. Kat just did it. She just.
I'm so sorry. We're an hour and 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think we're a little late for that.
I'm late, but I don't care.
It's a cool book. It is a good ending, and I like that. He pretty much says, "Hey, like, tell Barbara it's cool that you were Batgirl." So I like that.
That's what picked the book up for me. I was like, okay, we're getting the same. Holy crap! Did that just happen to Jim Gordon? Whoa! I am invested. Yes, sir, I am. Except when they said Harley's having twins, and one is the Joker's, and one is what's his name? Oh God.
What? She's having kids?
Napier. Yeah, she's pregnant. She's having twins.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wow. That's going to be fun.
That is going to be fun.
And she went into labor in this issue, actually.
Oh,
and then Batman has to... Batman has to deliver the baby. So
no, he does not.
Yeah.
They're in a well. They're in a well or something.
I'm not reading that book.
Talk about that.
Oh, you gotta read it. She's like, unless you want to have a superhero fight with a pregnant woman, you're gonna help me do this.
Nope.
I draw the line to Batman delivering babies. I'm sorry.
Out of all the people to deliver the baby, it's got to be Batman.
And I love this facial expression too. He's like,
then they come out and go, "I'm Batman."
They name him
the world. I look like a cop to you. No, but you're supposed to be a doctor.
I deliver babies because I'm Batman.
I don't know how I forgot that till now. I should have put that as a panel for
blankets and hot water.
Oh no.
They're in a well, so hopefully they can find some water. I don't know about the blankets.
Yeah.
That's creepy. Tavia, it's life, man. It's not creepy.
That's life.
Batman
giving
I'd be creeped out if Batman was delivering my baby. I'm sorry.
I thought he was going to say that's adorable.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't want to come into the world and know that Batman was the first person I saw. That's just
what if your dad was dressed in a Batman costume?
Uh-oh.
Oh, well,
no,
there
man.
you go.
Seeing your mom as Harley Quinn, I don't know if that's a great thing either.
They're destined to
scarred
fail.
for life. Yeah.
All right,
When
so
my baby's born, I'm gonna dress up like.
Oh my God! Good luck.
Let's move on.
Brant, what was your number 4 this week?
Spider-Man Velocity. What issue is it? Is it 4?
2.
4.
2. 4. 2. I don't know where I got 4 from.
When did all these issues come out?
Yeah, I know. I've really enjoyed this gaming universe of Spider-Man. The last series was really good, and this one so far has been really solid as well. this whole issue is trying to figure out who this ghost is, and Peter's being all skeptical and sighing, and they go see a fortune teller or whatever, like to do a seance and stuff, and it's freaking Mysterio. It's Quentin Beck. It's like, what?
Wow.
It was hilarious. But yeah, and then they find out
I love it. It's Mysterio before he's Mysterio.
yeah, exactly. But they find out obviously it's not a ghost. It's like somebody's going so fast that it seems like they're a ghost. And I'm thinking like, okay, is this Speed Demon's origin? But it ends up being a girl, so it's like a different twist on it. It may still be Speed Demon, but I thought it was really interesting, and I like this dynamic that Peter and Mary Jane are partners, and like she's doing the reporter thing and he's doing the superhero thing, and he's testing this new armor. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed this take on Spider-Man. It's kind of fun.
There was no Mephisto in this universe.
There was no Mephisto, yeah. It's
Not
good.
yet.
I enjoy it.
Quiet.
It's going to happen.
movie, next PS4 game.
Yeah. Are any of you guys reading it?
I'm not.
No?
I didn't read it. I honestly, I read that first issue and like I wasn't into it. I don't know if it was the artwork that I wasn't a huge fan of. And I thought I would like it, but I didn't like it again. And I was just like, I didn't like the first one either.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's totally understandable. I mean, they do something like it's just like Ultimate Universe, except it's based off of a video game.
Right, yeah.
Well, I didn't like City of War, and that's why I didn't give this one a try. And I really like, kicking myself. I don't have a PS4 because I go to GameStop. I'm like, so
I know. I want to play that game so bad. Like I would love to buy that. There's no way in my household that a PS4 would come home in my house.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't happen. I have everything else. I have there's a DS, there's a Switch, there's a Xbox, still have the Wii U. We have a billion games, and it's just like there's no way that a PS4 would enter this house unless I gave up comic books.
You never play a
So everyone watching, remember, for Christmas, Kat and Mike Spider on a PS4.
That's it. That's really all I want.
Wait, Mike, did you ever play any PlayStation consoles like PS1, PS2?
Oh yeah, like before I had kids, I had PS1, I had PS2.
Before I had kids, I played games all the time.
I had every console all the time. That's why I went back to comic books. Once I had kids, comic books were okay. It takes like 5 minutes to read them, 10 minutes to read them, and I could be done. You know what I'm saying? A video game, you pay a video game for an hour, and you won't scratch the surface with it. So it's just like that's why I stopped playing video games. The only thing
but video games you have fun, whereas you read a book and then you put it away.
You have fun too.
Yeah, but if I didn't read comic books, none of this would exist.
That's true too. Hey, you have to
I'm just stating my point.
It's true.
I could see Mike in a Call of Duty game playing aggressively, and Kat's on the opposite team. I know Kat loves Call of Duty.
My thing was Halo. When
Halo
that's what it was.
That's where mine was.
Yeah,
I play games on my phone because it's easy.
Yeah, that's me now. I'm like always playing mobile games because I can pick it up and play like for 10 minutes or something, put it down. But
so much easier.
I was always more into the immersive games like your Final Fantasy and stuff like that. It takes days and weeks and.
I played the Fire Emblem because my friend
Fire Emblem Force
the new one because I have one of my friends keeps bringing it over and they're like, you have to play. I'm like, okay, I've never played it. I'm like, and they keep asking like, why don't you like get it yourself? I'm like, I like the game if I play with somebody because my joke is that all I'm trying to do is find a wife. And it's just like, all right, I gotta get Edelgard, I gotta get this, and it's just like that's the fun part. Is like you have to get married. So that's fun. So, but I think with video games for me, like I rather play it as a relaxation, and like comics is like it's my job, so it's like I like doing that in a different regard, but yeah, I'll play video games that way. But also the reason I won't get PlayStations because I know the controls of Xbox. So it's like once you're there for so long, you rather play Xbox.
Yeah, see, I'm a PlayStation person.
Yeah, there you go. And then you wouldn't want to switch to Xbox.
Sweet extra.
I'm not gonna
Hey,
say
Mike.
it, Brad. I won't say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Go ahead, Mike.
Sweet Exorcist says, "Hey Mike, did you have an Atari or a ColecoVision back in the day?" I didn't have either, but I went to my friend's house and I played Atari and ColecoVision. So that's the way to do it.
We
You
have
know?
an Atari,
And then
yeah.
I had an Atari. I had a 2600 and a 5200.
They have a
Did you?
remake with the built-in games Atari. I think it's the. 50
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had
playing.
like my stepdad gave me like his old. I think it was a 2600, and I only had like 3 games on it, and I kept playing them over and over. But yeah, and then my cousin had a 5200, and I lived with him, so for a while, so we played pole position mostly.
Oh, dude, I was just about to say that the game that I loved to play on that was pole position,
Yeah.
man.
Totally.
Alan says
Preparing to qualify.
goes from comic books to video games. That's what we do, guys. Like we just and I pressed another one. BTW, yes, I want a new Ghostbuster game. I'm good.
Listen, I would love to have a new Ghostbusters game, but they're remaking the original one from the 360.
I would love a Ghostbusters game.
Oh yeah, man.
There used
What was
to
that,
be
Michael?
a Ghostbusters game on the original Sega.
Spirit loves me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh god. At first I didn't notice what it was. I'm like, oh man, that Ghostbusters.
They had a Ghostbusters game on the Sega, regular, not Genesis, Sega Master System.
Mhm.
Where you get money, and you would defeat these ghosts, and it was like the most dumbest, like generic game that I think about.
Nerd showed that.
But I had so much fun playing it, so it was really cool. But yeah, we'll get back into comics now.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody who's upset, we're going back.
All
That
right,
one.
so it's flipping back to the medium before there were video games. So, who did not give their
I didn't.
number 4? Michael, right?
Yeah, it's a book we already talked about anyway. Bloodshot issue number 1.
All right, cool. So now we
Did
will
Brand
be
go?
talking.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Odyssey.
Oh, right.
We went into the whole
That's
game.
what came.
I know. I didn't just I'm lost.
We're gonna have to start this all over again.
No.
So now we'll go on to another big book before we go on to the number 3, and we're going to talk about House of X issue 5.
Powers of X.
Powers of X.
Oh,
Powers of 10.
sorry,
Whatever it's called.
Powers of 10, House of X, Powers of X, whatever. It's issue 5 of that, which should be one gigantic series, but it's not.
It will be in trade in December.
What did you guys think of this particular
The
issue?
only thing that matters in life is Emma Frost.
I will read this book 4 more times and get back to you next week.
No, it is long, but I like, in all seriousness, I thought it was really cool about the government stuff that they were doing with Emma, and I think that it's going to be really cool to see what they do with the Hellfire Club and like Kitty as part of the Hellfire Club. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And Emma and Kitty working together.
Who's
That's
the
crazy.
third? Oh wait, that's right.
It's
She's the
Kitty.
third.
Yeah, it's going to be Kitty.
This Powers of 10 is like the more boring of the two, I think, overall, like if you compare them. But this issue wasn't that bad. The stuff with Emma especially was the best part of the issue, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I
The
completely
same
agree
panel
with
that me and Brant somehow
Yeah,
read
yeah.
each other's minds on.
that. Right? Yeah, it's like I'll need 3. It's like okay. But yeah, no, that was absolutely the best part, and I love the way that Magneto and Professor X approached her too, just the whole way it came together. The stuff that took me out of it obviously was the Phalanx stuff, and just I'm bored to tears every time that part comes up, and I don't care about that, and I've never really liked the Phalanx anyway, like back when they first introduced and all that stuff. So every time they come up, I just get bored automatically. But this was just like, why why did they kill this guy? Why did they do this? Well, let me give you a history lesson kind of thing.
Yeah, those are definitely some boring parts.
That was the part that I didn't enjoy either. But like the beginning and the middle, the conversation between Forge and Professor Xavier was just I love that part. Like just seeing their minds work together was absolutely amazing. And I love that conversation between them. And I think, I don't remember seeing such an in-depth conversation between Forge and Professor Xavier ever. No. Like I honestly don't remember that. And that was great. And then you guys already pointed out the Emma Frost stuff. So overall, the book was good. It was just the ending where I was like, huh? I'm like, I don't really get these guys. Like, what's the purpose of them? But nevertheless, it's good. And it lays the groundwork down for these X books coming out. So, I'm sure all of us here are going to cover them one way or another, whether it's here or on our own individual channels. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm giving every single one a shot. I'm going to pick up every single one of them. I will say the Miranda's book is what I'm most excited for, but I'll definitely give them all a try.
Devia says, what about Magneto and Charles acting like villains?
Yeah, I don't get how you think they're acting like villains. I mean,
they're tired of being a victim.
They're not. Yeah, they're trying to actually do something different than what they've done in the past because obviously it didn't work.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I was muted. I was trying to unmute. You meant Marauders, Kat? You're going to be
Marauders. I'm sorry. Yeah,
okay, and I'm going to be doing the same thing as everybody. I'm going to be trying all the issue number ones out. I'm really excited for them.
Yeah, I think they finally just came to terms. Like the whole conversation with Namor and Professor X, which I forgot about, was in
Get
there too.
Namor out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
That was for Kat. That was
really
he was a dickhead.
I hate him.
He always is. That's kind of his thing.
Yeah. You know what? If you want to see a villain, just go to Namor. That's it. He's a villain.
But it's just Professor X finally accepted that, they're not going to ever accept a mutant. So you've got to change your tactics here. And him and Magneto finally see eye to eye on something. But they're kind of meeting a middle ground. I don't see where you get villain out of that. But okay.
Right. Okay. All right. So that was the big book before our number 3. So my number 3 book this week went to – that's funny. It's a coincidence. It is Powers of X. Powers of 10. Yeah, that's hilarious. So we'll move on to Michael. What's yours, Michael?
What we talked about is Spider-Man issue number 11.
That's actually mine as well. Yeah.
Yes, because it's superior.
Yeah.
Kat, what's yours?
Mine is Ghost Spider issue 2.
That was a good book also this week.
Yes.
I love this book. It's just fun, but I think there's a lot of plot that's developing too, because you have Jackal and this Australian girl who's plotting stuff.
What is up with that Australian girl? Like, where did she
where did she come from?
But I don't know from Australia. I think the whole background's fake. Watch, she's like a clone or something.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely something out
she's
there.
I think she's a Gwen Stacy clone wannabe.
She's just a groupie.
Yeah. It's like Jackal created her, and just as a replacement as Gwen.
Yeah. And she's like, you got to practice your Australian accent. It's like, okay, I will. And I love that part. I like her just adjusting at college. Both your panels, Mike and Brant, are very close to being my panels. I love when she just breaks the granite. She gets pissed off about everything that's going on. And then the PJ stuff. Because come on, if you went to college, everyone dresses up in their PJs. Because no one wants to actually dress up.
The girl over there is totally a pajama.
And I'm like, that's awesome. And Gwen's just ready. She's like, she's ready to learn. Because she's a freshman and on her first day, and then like the next week she'll be like, I'm good. But I really liked it. I like that they're also developing stuff in her own world too, because you have the Earth 65, J. Jonah Jameson son stuff going on. So a lot of good stuff in this book. I love it.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a really solid issue.
Yeah, I liked it too. Everything that you said. Jackal, I just found interesting. That cliffhanger though, again with Australian chick. I'm like, holy crap, for real? I'm like, she is the last person I expected at the end of that book to be affiliated with the Jackal, right? And
look at that hat though. That's just pure evil.
Oh yeah.
Hey, don't move. Don't move.
She does look like one a little bit.
She's evil.
I'm telling you, I think she is. I think she's like, I don't know, maybe a clone between Gwen and some other girl.
She's
Maybe
a
that he was
limousine
affectionate
driver. That's what she is.
with. Yeah,
Evil limousine driver.
Uber driver.
Uber driver.
Yeah.
She's like, let me get my hat.
Hey, you want to take an Uber?
She's want to take an Uber.
Here we go.
An Uber.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Now we're gonna be making fun of her accent every time she's in.
Really bad
Oh.
Australian accents.
Yeah.
Let us add.
Good night, boys and girls.
Yes, Master Jackal.
Oh.
I'm not even going to try.
Come on, Brent. You have to try. Everybody's done it. Come on, be Australian. Shrimp
No.
on the bobby.
That's
Put your shrimp on the bobby.
You can say Outback Steakhouse.
Just say Outback.
I can't do it. Every time I try to do an accent, it comes out totally wrong.
Kangaroo Jack.
But every time I try to do British, it comes out Australian. So
So do British.
Oh.
So Brent, what's your number? What are we on? 3?
I don't even know
Yeah.
anymore.
I remember 3.
I said I agree with Michael. It was a superior Spider-Man.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Chris, what's yours?
Wasn't as superior as Batman Superman issue 2 for me. I enjoyed it.
Good
I like.
too. Yeah.
I love the fight between Shazam and it's not the Shazam from the Batman Who Laughs universe. He's been infected, we find out, by the Batman Who Laughs, which I like because we're getting a one-shot in 2 months explaining how that happened. And I love how Batman got taken down. He wakes up in the fortress. We don't know how much time has passed. He just wakes up and just busts out of the crystals. I'm like,
And just like tears
Ow!
Felix apart.
poor Calix. He's like,
Felix, whatever.
yeah, he's like, good evening, Master.
Where long?
You want to talk about anger issues? My God, poor robot.
And Superman comes flying in all bloody and beaten up. He's like, dude, go easy on
I know.
go easy on the robot.
I love when Superman just went. He beat us both. This is like, deal with it, dude.
Deal with it. We both
So-
lost.
So this was the next big book to talk about.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah, so this falls in the good spot, so which is cool. But my thing of it is like I was kind of confused at the end because all of a sudden like Batman has captured, right? And then who's the Superman who left?
Okay,
He's
so
another guy.
No.
No, it is
What
Superman.
happened? It is
Superman?
Superman. What happened
When
is
did he get infected?
okay.
He
So
willfully did it.
exactly.
You want to say it or you want me to say it?
You go right ahead.
If you reread the dialogue, Superman, as he's talking to Batman, occasionally is going,
Oh,
You
that's
can-
so. Yeah.
So off panel, he kind of
Yeah.
infected himself.
Oh. Okay, that should have been
He
explained a little
infected
more.
himself, and they found, and the reason he did it was because Batman Who Laughs is a prisoner under the Justice League headquarters, and no one else knows that except Batman. And
When did they capture him though?
right after Metal.
Well, see. 'cause
Oh
we
no,
didn't
no,
read
not after
that.
Metal, not after Metal.
It's probably Justice League or
Luther.
something.
Luther had him, and then then Batman
Oh,
had him.
God.
Oh,
There's
so he's been captured this whole time.
You got to read Batman Who Laughs. I think that's where they explain.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. That's
Yeah,
why
I didn't read
that
it
I was
either.
confused about
I didn't
that.
read it either. I think that's how you'll find out.
They could have been a little bit more new reader friendly for that. I love the artwork for this book. I liked issue 1 a little bit more only because it was very fighty. It was very like, all right, let me punch you, let me punch you, let me punch you. And also, I hate that a lot of it's been spoiled already. We know who's going to be infected, so that kind of like ruins the fun.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm a little confused by DN's question. Do you feel like the fact that with Shazam was an intentional jab at Jeff Johns? Why?
Because Shazam was so late.
No, I know, but I mean, this was
Well,
planned
DC wouldn't
way
do
before.
that.
Yeah, that's
No.
Why would they
one.
jab themselves?
Exactly. Number 2, this was planned out around the same time as Shazam was continuing to move forward. I feel
Yeah.
like if you remember Public Enemy, he also was one of the people who fought against Batman and Superman when they were public enemies of the state. So I feel like that's why I like the way they're going with this series so far. They're trying to get that spark back, like Superman, Batman, Public Enemy, and Superman, Batman after that. And I feel like this series is definitely grabbing that steam like the other one did.
All right. All right, so let's head into our number 2 pick. So my number 2 is one of the books we just talked about was Ghost Spider, issue 2. So we'll come back to you, Chris. So what was your number 2?
Superior Spider-Man.
All right. Brant.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Me too.
Oh, okay. There was such a delay on there.
Oh my
Wow.
Spider-Man!
Amazing Spider-Man issue 30. That was my number 2 also.
Mine was awesome. This is
Nice.
my issue 30.
Wow.
Three
Yeah.
of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's impressive. All right, cool. All right, so let's talk about some Shazam, issue 7. Oh, before we get into that, Cryptics number 2, Avengers number 24. I'm happy to see Uncle Eli finally back, and I hope by the end he does go back to possessing Robbie, and I can finally stop hating on Jason Aaron. So Shazam has been absent for a very long time. It is now returned. We have issue 7. It's released. You guys read it. What'd you think of it?
I liked it.
I thought it was
Did
fun.
you?
I liked
Yeah,
it.
was not
it was
fine.
fun.
I liked like one scene. I liked when the dad was jumping up and down because he found out, you know, his
Yeah,
father's
that was
son
fun.
was Shazam.
Shazam! Woo!
Everything
didn't like
else, I feel like is so too late because I'm like, I already didn't like this arc, and I'm just like, oh, now it's 3 months later.
Hmm.
My issue was I was vested then,
Yeah.
and now that it's out, I felt like I was like, I'm not into the story anymore. It's like almost reading the story like for the first time, and you're halfway through it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, I picked it up with issue 7. I forgot what happened through issue 1 through 6. You know? So,
Yeah, that exactly. Like I said earlier, I had to go back and read the last issue again to figure out where we were at. But I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it for what it was. But like you said, Mike, it didn't have that same fervor it did for me when I was reading it. You know, when it was coming out on time.
I'm still definitely gonna
Did you
read it because I like this book, but it's just not my
did you
favorite.
feel like it was a bit disjointed? Like they were trying to put too much into it? Like,
Yeah,
Too much art?
I feel like this entire arc has been that way though.
yeah,
The
that's
whole-
true. I felt like it got a little worse.
Yeah.
And the artwork is different. There's 2 different artists on it,
Yeah.
which I don't like either.
It was like one of them was good and the other one was
Yeah.
okay.
It was like in the middle of the story, all of a sudden it's like I feel like I got blurry for a moment, and then we got back to the end of the book, and it's like, oh, okay, hello.
yeah, exactly. It
No,
worked
that
out.
was you, Chris. You
all me. It was all
Right,
me.
yeah.
Damn it, I gotta go back and read it again now.
It was a bit jarring. I like the stuff with the wizard where it's there's an imposter and somebody's evil or twisted or being possessed or whatever it turns out to be.
I like
Somebody's
the
a traitor.
tiger. I like the tigers.
Oh, I love Tawny.
I love Tawny. He's
Yeah.
awesome. I hope he becomes the mayor too, in the original comic.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then let's talk about one more before we get into our number. I forgot again. 2? 1. Oh yeah, because we breezed through number 2.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about this one. Strikeforce, issue 1. What'd you think? Hit or miss?
Miss.
The wrong court.
It's a book I might be dropping. Actually.
Might drop that
Yeah.
thing.
You think? Yeah, I mean, it's just because it's one of those books. It's not really my cup of tea. It's that kind of thing, and it's definitely one of those books where that they just threw characters together because they didn't know what else to do with them.
Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they just tried to force a plot into it. But go ahead.
Oh God, it was so bad. But like when you sat there and say, "Yeah, I was sleeping in my bed and we all magically appeared in one room,"
Yeah,
how lazy can you be when it comes to that writing?
yeah,
Like on getting a team together, right? And you don't get any description of these characters, who they are, where they came from, anything like that. It was just this plot was just thrown to you. That's what I didn't like about it.
yeah.
I just thought it was boring. I wanted to
Right.
We should just call it strikeout. We call it the strikeout.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
And again, no disrespect to the writer or the creative team. It's just like I just could not get into that book.
I feel like it's a mix between the characters and, like what Mike said, certain lazy points in the writing that just this definitely is not a book I
There could have been any type of plot to get these characters together
Yeah.
more than just we formed in a room. Like, honestly.
Yeah, and then the tying into the whole shapeshifter thing. I mean, going back to Jessica with shapeshifters again, and why is she in the old costume? There was a lot of things that didn't make sense here. Yeah, and it felt disjointed to me. And why call him Blade of all people?
That's what I'm saying. It's like Blade. Why? Oh my God! You want to ruin this book for me off the get-go? At least make me care about Blade. No.
Yeah, and then you force some story that's supposedly from his past into it to make it make sense. Yeah.
And then they couldn't tell the Avengers, so he just like takes them away. Yeah. And the shapeshifters were like wannabe Skrulls and wannabe vampires. So it's like the light, it doesn't kill them, it hurts them. And they can only shapeshift unless you capture them. Like you have to physically capture them and they have to touch you. You know, it's just so weird. I couldn't. It was so odd, man.
And then it's like, oh wait, did I kill a shapeshifter or did I kill Hellstrom? Oops.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Hellstrom. I didn't mean to kill you there, buddy.
Did you read this one, Michael?
No.
Okay. I thought you might just because it seemed like Marvel's answer to Justice League Dark.
Didn't touch a book that was smart. He didn't touch a book that was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. That's a good thing. Take a compliment. God.
I was joking back with you.
Okay then.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Move on.
Move on then.
All right. So we're moving on to our number one pick of the week. And that one, for me, this time around went to the book we talked about much, much earlier in the show, Superior Spider-Man, issue 11. Love the series. Total 360 compared to where it was when it first started. So awesome stuff. Michael, favorite book of the week?
Punisher Kill Crew, issue number 3. It's was a really awesome book this time. We finally have Frank Castle of he's looking for the whereabouts of I'm trying to remember the name. Casalca? I couldn't even remember the name. It was like really long name.
No, not Cthulhu.
No, not Cthulhu. Or whatever his name was. But anyway,
you have a picture of it.
Do I have a picture of it?
The name.
I think it's spelled Kasyckla. Whatever. And he looked for whereabouts, and he found out that he's like in a bunker that's made of like some unbreakable metal. And his mission is to get rid of the monsters that we heard from other issues that created war orphans. So he's practically avenging their parents. So he's like trying to be a good guy in this issue by destroying the monsters and all that. So he said that instead of going to find out where like unbreakable metal, he's going to like kill dark elves and find the Black Knight with actually he teams up with Mr. Nelson and the Juggernaut as well, and that's actually pretty cool. Juggernaut was beast in this issue, I must admit that. Like he was just crushing everything. But yeah,
I didn't even know he was in the book.
Yeah, he was trapped by the I forgot what their names were. Like it's so forgettable, the names, but he basically breaks out of it thanks to the Punisher and then just unleashes hell on them. It was really awesome. And that was my book of the week for number 1.
Nice.
All right. Reverend Campbell says number 1, his Superior Spider-Man, number 11. This series is coming to an end, and oddly enough, I'm okay with it. Cryptic Zinker says, looks like my dream of auto-forming Spider-Man and his superior henchmen with the West Coast Avengers will never happen. It's a frown face. Wow. So that's funny. That's awesome. Sweet Exorcist says, think of why Doomsday Clock and Justice League are giving 2 totally different origins for the same story.
Oh, God.
So he's talking to Tevia and DNGN there, just in case Tevia doesn't know. All right, so Chris, what's your number 1 book of the week?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 98, of course, and we've talked about it.
All right. Mr. Fowler, what's your number 1 book?
Ghost Spider, number 2.
Nice. Yes. Kat, you're number 1.
Power Rangers, issue 43. I know, right?
43!
Wow.
I know. I really like this issue a lot. I thought it was a big improvement.
I never
thought I'd see it happen.
I know. I mean, I've had Power Rangers in my top before. My number
Yeah.
one.
Never
Right.
thought I'd see the day.
All right, so that is the top 5. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that more discussion-like aspect of the top 5. And now I'm going to hand it over to Brant for our next segment, which is key comics that we're looking forward to next week.
New segment.
So this is basically a new version of Most Anticipated, if that confuses you at all. You don't have to put me on full screen, man.
I just wanted to do it for the intro of the show.
Under the radar.
Okay, fine.
Oh, yes.
No, you didn't have to now. It's too late. Hi.
Anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk about a few books that we think are anticipatory worthy, I guess.
Forward to them
say-
in the comic shop.
We're
Think are
looking
books
forward to
that
books that are coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, we think these.
today.
First of all, like we made a list of books that we thought were big, and then out of that,
Yeah.
which were the books we actually wanted to talk about, and which books were we actually
Yes.
excited for is the list.
Yeah, collectively.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of weeded them down to 4 books this week. So we'll just start with Champions number 10, which is the last issue of what's his name? Jim Zub. I lost his name for a minute. Jim Zub's run. So personally, I'm really curious to see how he's going to wrap it up. It was kind of an abrupt end. We weren't expecting it to end, and I think he did wonders with this series. Where it was floundering, he kind of brought it back to life and kind of did some really cool things with the characters. Now, I'm really sad to see it go, but I'm curious to see like if he plants the seeds for where these characters are going to go beyond this. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm curious to see if we're going to get a Young Avengers book because I've heard rumblings that we were, and especially after we read Marvel Comics 1000, and maybe some of the fan favorites from Champions will be in Young Avengers instead. So like Viv and Riri. I don't know if Ms. Marvel would be because she has her own book, but maybe like Nova. So maybe we could get to see the Champions and Young Avengers mesh, which I would really like that. And I think a Young Avengers title would sell better than a Champions book, as we
I
see.
would love to see a young event. They keep teasing the Avengers from what was it? Avengers Next, the one.
Yeah, Avengers Next.
I want to see an Avengers Next book. They teased it. They showed up in a few books, and they never attacked it. They never did it. I wish they'd do it once.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Champions too. I want to see how it gets closed out. I'm disappointed that it's going, but I agree. Characters like Viv and Sam Alexander, of course, I feel like they need to go somewhere. Amadeus Cho, like I don't care. I don't care about him. You know, Ironheart is leaving. You know, she's, you know, her series is ending, so we'll see what happens with there. But I want these characters to actually go somewhere. It sucks that it is ending and he can't tell his story, but hey, a lot of these writers, they go through this, so we'll see what happens with these characters.
Yeah. And Kat, you mentioned Marvel Comics 1000, so 1001 comes out tomorrow, and that's another one we're all looking forward to. We were all really impressed with 1000. And I wasn't expecting them to do another issue of it, but I think it's really cool. And I want to see, like, I don't know exactly what this issue entails. If it's expanding on the Mass Rider stuff, right? Is that what it's going to do? Or
I believe so. I honestly have no clue what.
Yeah.
Is it going to be that?
Yeah, it's going to be more of that. I think it's going to be some more. I don't know if it's more other stories or not, but I know it's definitely going to include the what's the name of the mask?
Masked Raider? Is that what it is?
That's the character, but what's the name of the mask itself? The Eternity Mask or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's the Eternity Mask.
I mean, he went to Spirit.
Yeah,
and
I think it's
mask.
It's definitely going to have a main focal point of that. And I think that in itself is worthy of the pickup to see, you know, how this character gets more into the main Marvel universe.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think for all of us here, we were so surprised by Marvel Comics 1000. So I hope to be surprised with this one as well.
I'm praying to be surprised with 1001. This time I bought it without even reading it digitally first. So
yeah,
here's hoping.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too, because that story, just the way it came together in 1000 is like, man, I was so impressed by that. and it's like I'm so invested in that story now. So I'm hoping that this one is really good and it doesn't like take me down. It's like, oh, this is what it is. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Next up, we got Spider-Verse #1, which is that's tying into like the movie verse, right? It's like
I believe so. Yeah.
the comic verse.
I think so.
Yeah.
Which the one thing I didn't like from the preview art is that it's not the art from the movie, and I'm like, oh. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Is it more like flat?
It's more
flat
like
art,
what Miles is now, like in his book. From what I saw, it's just like, but like now I'm confused. Is it a Miles? Yeah, right. Is it a Miles book from the 616, or is it supposed to be in Spider-Verse?
Yeah, I thought it was Miles in the 616 at first, so I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see.
I thought it was supposed to tie into the movie verse.
Me too.
The animated movie verse. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm hesitant about this one though too, Brant. I because it's like I don't know what to expect from it, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the biggest thing. And so we'll try the first issue. If I don't like it, well, we can always drop it, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Precisely.
It's going to be interesting to see if it is in the movie verse, what they do with it, and if it's not, then why have it?
Right.
Yeah, because we've had so many Spider-Verses already. So.
Yeah. And the last one we're going to talk about is Absolute Carnage, Immortal Hulk #1, and after that cliffhanger with the Hulk getting the symbiote, I mean, this has some major implications. And I'm not an Immortal Hulk reader, but I know a couple of you are. So
I think could be pretty cool because this one's going to tie into Thunderbolt Ross a little bit.
Before his freedom died. Who clicked that? Because it wasn't.
I did. I clicked it.
That was funny.
It's not because his freedom died. Don't believe it, Mike.
Could you possibly get Venom Hulk versus Carnage
Hulk?
Thunderbolt Ross?
Let's hope, man. That'd be so cool.
That would be so
my
awesome.
God.
And
that would be crazy.
Immortal Hulk is coming out the same week as this, which is kind of cool too. So I love Immortal Hulk. So
Hulk being the only one that wasn't infected by a symbiote now officially has been infected by a symbiote.
Yes.
But I was like, what is Bruce Banner doing here? Like, I didn't get that aspect when he was in the Venom book. I'm like, he's in the Venom book, but why? Why is he in there? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You'll learn in the tie-in. Maybe it'll be like a prequel.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for that book. Man, I hope it doesn't let me down. Cryptic says, I feel like it's about time for Hulk to tie into Absolute Carnage. So which she is. So So
and that's it. That's all our key comics for this week.
Yeah, so now we're going to go to Chris on our last segment.
New segment! And the new segment is books we're thinking about dropping. And we have 3 books on this list. And we talked about one.
Well, remember, Chris, what we're going to do is go down the line.
We're going to go down the line. Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, it's going to probably be Strikeforce. We talked about it. And I have no interest in it. Brant?
Yeah, Strikeforce is the one on the chopping block for me as well.
Cat?
All right, I have 3.
She's chopping them all.
I am chopping Strikeforce for sure. Harleen, done. And then Action Comics is the one like I probably will give one more issue to see where Naomi goes, but I'm probably going to drop when the Naomi story is over.
Action Comics, I'm on the fence. It's on the fence. It could go either way. So, Cat, I'm in the same boat. Mike?
Definitely for sure Strikeforce. I ain't reading that anymore. And Action Comics I dropped a long time ago. I picked it up for this, and DNGN says you should.
I think
we should call it. Let's do it.
Sure.
Let's do it. DNGN
segment. You just got it. It's now called and forever will be the chopping block. DNGN, you've been chopped.
I just updated it on our documents. So it's official.
Fancy. Now I wish I would have got that Karate Kid bandana at Spirit. That would have been fun.
Next week.
Michael.
Sorry, Mike.
I don't have any.
Oh no! I thought we cut off Mike. I thought we chopped Mike.
You chopped Mike. So Strikeforce for sure. Action Comics I did drop. And I picked it up just for Naomi, but that issue sucked, so I'm dropping it again. Chopped.
Chop!
Oh my god, I love that.
Anyone who watched Looney Tunes and can name where Hassan Chop comes from and what Looney Tune was in that cartoon,
You win nothing.
you get an extra entry.
Yeah,
You get an extra entry in Brant's gift.
Stop promising things.
Yeah, don't promise things I can't deliver on, man. Come on.
Oh my god, that.
Get it? Brant,
So
name it.
I don't even know if we can.
No, we.
I don't even know how to do that.
I don't even know how to do
Add
that.
an extra random entry.
Yeah,
Come
sorry
on.
about that. Don't answer that question because we're not
No,
getting your
answer it,
extra
but you won't
entry.
get any. You won't get any prizes. But I'd love to know if anybody knows.
You won't
New
get
show,
any.
same old Chris Tricks.
Hey, it'd be
Same old
funny if
Chris
somebody
promises.
answered it. Nobody answered it, so nobody gets an
So
entry.
they're like, if I'm not getting anything, then I'm not going to answer.
Brevin Campbell says, I will never drop action. I will die in this flame and with it.
Brevin, I said that. I said that during New 52. I dropped it. I
There
came
you
back.
go.
I say it again. If it happens again, never again, because I will not do that again. Let's see. Did anybody get it? No, not Foghorn Leghorn. Oh, it was so close. No, it was not Foghorn Leghorn. And then Cryptic says he remembers it from Looney Tunes. It was not Foghorn Leghorn. No, that was not a character that was in
Maybe
that.
next week you'll get some answers. But one thing we want to say is that let us know what you thought about all the segments.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So,
If you like,
And
the
we
new
got
format,
it. Yep.
Yeah.
And we got this done in 2 hours, guys. 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Yes, that's awesome.
And we were
So we're
able to share all your comments, which is the most important thing of all. We got to share everybody's. No, not Daffy Duck.
They're
we had
just going
fun.
to rattle
We had
off every Looney Tune character now.
we had a lot of fun because it wasn't just like the reason why we did this is that we didn't want to go down the line anymore. We felt like it was just too like, all right, who's next? We wanted it to make it more of a discussion. And I hope you guys enjoyed it because I think we really did.
Yes, exactly. And
We did.
this is the new format that you will be seeing every single week on Tuesday nights,
Right
10
here
o'clock.
on Comic Book Weekly.
Comic Book Weekly. And also, we're more organized because if you guys didn't know, the reason why we were able to do all this is like our Google Doc is popping right now. We got we got a good Google Doc right now,
Yeah.
so it's all
I can't
good.
take it anymore. I had to say who was in it at least. Jeez.
It was killing you.
Oh
Oh my
guys,
God.
thanks for the comments. Real quick, Cryptic Seeker says, got to be honest, I'll miss how our 2 picks could be read out, but hey, new format, just going to have to get used to it. Like I said, when we go down doing our top 5, I said you can put your 5 as we go along, and we'll read it out the best that we can. So you still can get your 5 read out. Just do it as the show goes, so it flows nice, right? Sweet Exorcist says, love this how the segments flowed so well. So the discussion format works as well. So yeah, so great stuff, guys. Thank you so much. Really,
I'm not touching it anymore.
It's not me. I was typing.
I was
I love
trying
it.
to help
Cat-
you.
Cat, me, and Brandon.
I know.
I
I love
know.
This is the
We're
best. You get it.
trying.
This is
Yeah.
unedited too. That's what makes live
Yeah.
so good. We could yell at each other. Stop clicking the button.
We gotta click them. And the other one was Tevye said.
Somebody leave it on.
Tevye says some of the segments were fun. Well, Tevye, let us
Yes.
know which ones were the fun ones. And
Yeah.
besides that, we didn't mention your picks. Like which ones weren't the fun ones if you didn't have,
Yeah.
the ones that were fun.
God.
Because we're still working it out too. We're trying to figure out what's fun for us. And and we are gonna be reading your picks. It's just not gonna be down the line like it used to be. Just like we're not doing it down the line anymore. So
Right.
we're just gonna make it flow throughout.
Yeah, our goal is to be more interactive with you guys and to talk with you more. And I think through doing it this way, where we can pop up your comments and have a discussion with you, kind of is, that's what we're aiming for. So.
the Google
And
Doc.
again,
Okay,
That
if you
Google
can see-
Doc, yeah.
let's do a
That's
screen
right.
share of our Google. Let's just show you guys this famous Google Doc right now.
wants
Here
to
it
see?
is.
We spend the entire week, guys, on working
you go.
for this
We
show.
really did. Like we worked really hard and we'll continue to work hard. So we have our big books, we have our chopping block, and then we have our news tab. So it really does help us that we get to mark down stuff, and we really do work hard for you guys throughout the week. So we try to make it.
We've been
Yeah.
working on this for weeks now, and we hope you all enjoy it. But as all wonderful shows go, we now have reached the end of the show.
Episode 1.
Episode one. And I swear to God, if we get close to 300 and we renumber it again, I'm killing somebody. Probably be you. Don't ask. She doesn't have any clue. Poor Cindy. She just walked in. So does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about going on? I know Brant and I do.
Well,
but before,
I was about to say, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, since you mentioned it, there just happens to be a Kickstarter going on right now for one more week. One more week.
Click the screen.
Click what?
Click your screen. Change your screen.
Change my screen. Oh, that. That's what you meant to do. Change my screen to the Kickstarter. Well, let me close that first.
Thank you.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is.
Celestial Falcon, issue number 1, deluxe edition on Kickstarter for one more week. And we're running out of time, people. You're running out of time. So please go check it out and support us if you can. Or share it. Please share it too. That helps tremendously.
It does. And we
Now
appreciate
click it off of me.
I am clicking it off of you. But yes, it's important to us, and we're so close to 50%. And then once we get past that 50%, it's only an uphill battle to the other 50%. So we hope you're all there for that. Anybody else have any news before I throw mine out real quick?
Oh, I'll be at New York Comic Con.
Well,
I to say that. Yeah, we'll be at Comic Con. Woo! Okay. And hopefully we will be able to meet up. I'll be working for my birthday. That's how it is.
I'll be doing a 2-part vlog for my Durock 18 site of New York Comic Con for Saturday. So yeah,
awesome.
That's it.
For me, I actually have 2 games you guys are going to be seeing streamed soon on Dark Avenger Gaming. You got Code Vein. It's Dark Souls meets vampire anime. I love anime, so Code Vein. And fresh out today, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. That I'm going to somehow get Brant to get at least the regular version so we can play together on. And an Xbox.
Right. That's the most important part of it.
Getting Brant to get so I can
but
play with
you're also getting us a PlayStation, so
yeah, there you go.
So thank you all so much.
One more thing. I'm sorry, I tried to tell you in the chat, but Chris and Brant show this Thursday. Yes. This Thursday, tune in for a brand new Chris and Brant show. So that's it.
It's going to be popping. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be on Comic Frontline. Thank you all so much for being here. We love each and every one of you. This new format, a Comic Book Weekly, every week, Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. We hope to see you all here live, and even if you're not watching this live, we hope that you leave a comment post live. Oh, and as I'm about to say it, let me actually click the one thing that I always forget to click, but I'm not going to forget this.
Spoiler alert.
This time it's don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss anything, like, which is that way, and then follow us all across social media or go to comicfrontline.com. The new website is here, and there's going to be a lot of new awesome stuff coming soon. We love all of you. We'll see you all next week. Happy New Comic Book Day, because it is 12:30 a.m. on the Eastern Coast. Brant has another half hour before it's New Comic Book Day, but we love you all, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is the Daily Show, didn't you know?
We'll see you all tomorrow at the comic shops. We'll see y'all next week for Comic Book Weekly. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.